Good morning. It is Saturday, January 22nd, 2019, and this is Morning Ruck March with Sergeant Woodard and Private Gus. Gus is up here in the front seat with me. We are headed up to River Legacy Park. We actually were going to go earlier this morning, but it was pounding rain, and I didn't go out. You know why? Because I don't have to anymore. So I went back to sleep for a little bit, got up, and drank some coffee just so I'd be wide awake, alert, and now we're going up. So what we will do is probably do a little bit more filming when we get up to the park so that folks can see what a beautiful gem this is in the Arlington Crown, and just go from there. So hope everyone has a great day, and we will be checking in just a little bit. Sergeant Woodard, Co-pilot Private Gus. We're out for now. Okay, we are headed into River Legacy Park. This actually has two entrances. One, which is the main one that comes off of Margaret and Green Oaks, which is over by the Nature Center. Actually, just off of Cooper Street. Far north Cooper Street, where it dead ends into Green Oaks. And again, this is the crown jewel of the Arlington Park system. Gus is getting hyperactive. We're going to do a quick drive through the park so everyone can see what it looks like during daylight hours. I mean, it's pretty and dark, but you really can't see too much of it. Coming out and walking in this place is what I would refer to as the grand cure for optical rectilitis. And for those of you that don't know what that is, message me and I will explain it to you. It's a funny little term that we all know, but it's something I can explain. As you can see, it did get a lot of rain this morning. Already out walking, skating, with a rucksack on, outstanding. I am very sure that the Dorba trails are going to be closed again. This is the very end. This portion of the trail actually heads east down to northwest or North Collins, 157, over by Viridian, crosses underneath. Of course, this is after it crosses over the Trinity River and keeps on going for another 7+ miles down to 360. And that is where actually the second entry to the park is located, is off of 157. It's just south of the entryway to the Viridian development. This is lovely. I love seeing people out here playing with their dogs, playing with the kids, getting some exercise, helping themselves to stay in shape, letting their dogs do whatever dogs need to do. Gus is getting excited because he knows that this is going to be a nice walk for him today. There's some days where you'll come out here and you'll see families having cookouts and barbecues and the like by these at these pavilions. So they have fireplaces and lots of picnic tables. And of course the requisite outhouses. Apparently going into woods as we're boating. There's a large pond off to my right. When it rains a lot during the wintertime, it fills up, comes almost all the way up to the road. And sometimes when we get lots of rain and the river actually floods up into here, it fills up all the these old quarries, which actually what these ponds are, is old quarries that are filled up, or gravel pits. And it looks like Norwood Trail is definitely closed down again, or still. Down there, I have seen that where it's been so dried out, that water is about 10 feet deep when it's all filled up like that. So you see all kinds of neat things out here. I've seen giant snapping turtles, alligator snapping turtles. You'll see some people out fishing every now and then when fish do get brought in by the floods. Lots of waterfowl out here. And last week when Gus and I were out, you could hear the Canadian geese flying over. And then of course the ducks and all that. So we're going to cut for now. Gus and I are going to ruck it up, get on the trail. Also, what's one of the nice things about this trail is every 25 or a quarter mile, you have mile markers that will actually tell you just how far you've come if you don't feel like carrying a GPS or a GPS watch or anything like that with you, or your cell phone. And if you're carrying your cell phone, you run into trouble, it also gives a number and a mile marker where you're at. Now, about a quarter of a mile from the end of the trail, we have this nice scenic overlook. This has been here since I've been coming here in 1996, and some of the wood planks are a little bit worn out, but they have made it ADA compliant so that people can get up here if they have mobility issues. And the nice thing about this, you can actually come up here, take a look out over the Trinity River. It's a beautiful scenic overlook. And a long time ago, when a buddy of mine, Steve Cloverdance, and I used to come up here, you'd hear mountain bikers on the other side of the river. There used to be a mountain bike trail over there. That is a motorcycle mountain bike. It has since closed, which makes this much more peaceful. This is why I always suggest when people get out, they unplug. They take off their headphones and have a chance just to listen to the wind and the trees and enjoy nature. Now that's something that we didn't have here before, which was the emergency phone, just in case. Now we're coming down to the end of the trail, and as you can see there, the dirt track is closed off. That's part of the Dorba Trail. And about 20 plus years ago, I guess in 1996, before the Dorba trails were in here and I started hiking out here, me and Chloe, who was our lab at the time, we would come down here and head on past that and walk around into woods. There's an old bridge back there, but one of the nice spots up here is the scenic overlook. You can take a look at everything. I'm actually having to turn around because Gus just tied me up. Scout forward. They got this nice trail here. I would go up it, but it's really wet and sloppy, and I don't need to slip and fall and have another face plant like I did last week, because I'm still hurting from that. There's a beautiful overlook here. Smells just a little bit, but that's mainly because we're close to the sewage treatment plant. But you can see when you're here in person, you can actually see some of the rapids that are further on up the river, further to the west. And there's birds out here and squirrels. We haven't seen any other wildlife. I actually haven't seen any signs of pigs or anything like that, so there's no tracks, no rooting around in the ground and the like. And what's interesting about this place is 20 years ago, Atmos came in and dug a wide swath going through across the river to put in a new line. And at that time, the University of Texas at Arlington, their archaeology department, came out here and did a dig, because all of this used to be Caddo land that linked into one of the Caddo Nation villages up on Village Creek. And they were able to find all kinds of neat artifacts out here, and I would guarantee you that if you were to come out into these woods and do another dig, you would find all kinds of neat little artifacts from the Caddo Nation. There's a lot of people who say Arlington doesn't have any history, but there's a lot of history that's out here throughout this town, throughout this area, and a lot of it's prehistoric. Some of it goes back to the founding of Bird's Fort, which was the first permanent settlement in Tarrant County, back before Johnson Station was created. And that is actually further to the east on the trail. And there is a historical marker that's located out there. But you can see that this is an absolutely gorgeous piece of land. And you can get out here and feel like you're out in East Texas or somewhere else out in the woods where it's very peaceful and quiet, and you can sit and contemplate, and it helps to remove your optical rectilitis. We're going to go down just one section of trail just to the bridge. This is one of the many bridges that runs over the creeks down here. Most of the time they are dried out. And it's a great opportunity if you're one of the mountain bikers to come out here and ride through the creeks further on down. Get back, Gus. I'm going to be dragging you out. And you can actually take this trail back to the cars, but we're not going to. So I really don't feel like wiping too much of Gus down. It's really neat because you can see all these people running around out here, either riding their bikes or walking their dogs or running. And I can tell you this is probably one of the best environments in all of Arlington to come out and do all of those things. This is a beautiful, beautiful place. And as you can probably tell from some of the shots that I've taken, spring is starting to spring up here. And it's beautiful. The leaves are starting to come out. There's blooms that are starting to come out on some of the trees. And squirrels are running through the trees as well. Of course, they're running through the trees all time of year, but it is absolutely gorgeous. You can see one of the creeks that runs through here right behind me. And Gus is going, Daddy, can I have some water? Yeah, I'll take you back out to a puddle, start drinking. As you can see from this park has a rather extensive series of mountain biking and trail running trails on the western side of the system. The idea really is to extend the cement park all the way up into Fort Worth, and on the eastern side where it goes down another 7 miles till it hits 360, all the way into Dallas one day. It would be nice to see if that would actually happen, but we don't know. One thing I will warn you about is this: they are all over the trails. I have seen them way too many times. So when you're out here, you definitely do have to be extremely cognizant of the fact that there are wildlife out here, and some of them are snakes, and they are venomous. So right now, the trail is closed, so no one will be going out there, hopefully, and tearing them up. And I look forward to the days when they're actually opened up again. It's gonna be a while though, but this place is beautiful. And as you can see, there's a great parking lot over here where people can come and set up. There's one of the quarries down here that the old gravel pits where they dug out for the railroad, and of course full of water and perfect for waterfowl now. So as soon as I get Gus all cleaned up and ready to go, I take him off his leash so I get into the car, and he decides to take off and go jump in the pond down in front of us. So I've just gone through the hassle of trying to get him dried up again, and then he takes off and runs through the mud. So I have to clean him again. Dogs will be dogs. He and I are going to head over to the other entryway to the park just to show everyone what it looks like when you come in. That way you can recognize it. But it's off of 157 north of Green Oaks, and is close to the Viridian location. Okay, crossing over the Trinity River, just south of the Viridian. You can see the little Viridian sculptures there on the right. The open expanse and what used to be old beaver ponds. On the left, Mount Arlington, that are known as the place where all the garbage gets dumped. At one time, that was a mess, and garbage would blow all over the place. There is some that blows, but for the most part, the folks that take care of that keep it very clean. Okay, this is the other entryway to the River Legacy Trail Systems. It's very wet up in here. When Gus and I were here the other day, the city had set up one of those huge diesel-powered sump pumps to help drain some of the water off this area. One of the problems is, again, you are in part of the Trinity River bottoms, and it fills up with water quite quick. It's definitely not made for drainage. And that's part of the allure of the place and the charm of the place, is that it's still extremely wild. It has not been domesticated, if you will. And the nice thing about this place too, they've put in some very nice benches where you can sit. There is a pond further on out. You can see the entryway up here just ahead, and you'll see it when I pull up. And of course it's all swamp back in there with the trails. But this will take you back up to the pond, and where you can see all kinds of neat stuff. The city has actually put out a board out there that'll show you all the different types of frogs and insects and plants that inhabit ponds like this throughout North Texas. We don't have any natural lakes up here. Everything is All of our lakes are due to the Corps of Engineers coming in and damming up various rivers, mainly the Brazos and the Trinity. But we do have plenty of natural ponds. And some that aren't so natural but are built to help take care of some of the drainage comes off of the parking lot, like this one right here. Again, I will say this a million times over. The River Legacy Park and Trail System is definitely the crown jewel in the City of Arlington's Park and Recreation Department's repertoire of parks. We've got many fine parks throughout the city for getting outside and playing and exercising, some small, some medium-sized, like Veterans Park, and some like the River Legacy System, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I definitely would invite people from outside of the area to come down and take a look at it. And then once you're done, partake in many of the fine restaurants that are located in downtown Arlington, because that is being rehabilitated and is I would say it's a lot like West 7th Street over in Fort Worth. And we do have our microbrews that are located over there. And there you go. Sergeant Woodard and Gus's Lone Star Adventure within the River Legacy Trail System. Okay, Private Gus and I are just about home, and you can see him there taking part in this. So you got to have a tour of our favorite park, River Legacy Park. The next one that we'll take you through will be one of the other local parks that are in the Arlington Mansfield area. So we've been blessed to have a lot of good places to go to get out and hike and walk and just enjoy the outdoors. This weekend and this next week it's supposed to be pretty warm, in the 60s, so definitely take an opportunity to get outside, and that will cure your winter blues and whatever case of optical rectilitis you might possibly have, and then you'll be happy. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to get Gus home and get him some more water, and I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. This is Sergeant Woodard and Private Gus, and we're out. And remember, relentless forward motion. We are out.